All right, we'll stay in the US, James. Joe Biden's son's he has revealed that he's under investigation for possible tax fraud. You could say the timing is exquisite if you're a Democrat, of course. Statement issued. Hunter Biden said, I learned yesterday for the first time that the US Attorney's Office in Delaware advised my legal counsel also yesterday that they are investigating my tax affairs. He says he takes the matter seriously, confident of a professional review, blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't know. James, Ukraine, China. This guy is never out of the headlines, is he?
He's never out of the headlines, and it's really interesting, actually, because it does tie into what we were just talking about Facebook and Google and Twitter, all of these tech giants which sat on and suppressed all of the stories about the Hunter Biden laptop during the election because they didn't want that getting out, and anybody thinking, well, maybe there's something with the Bidens that we ought to be worried about. Well, now it is turning out that, hey, a lot of what's been alleged with that story is starting to be corroborated, because it's not just that. There's also was an investigation by the Southern District of New York into potential money laundering. There have been several concurrent investigations that have been revealed, not just the one that he owned up to with the IRS, which is the equivalent of the ATO, but with, even stronger jaws and fangs and teeth than our own tax authorities. It's fascinating to me because this stuff was just sat on so much during the election, and if you even talked about it, people thought you were some wild-eyed conspiracy theorist, but, turns out here we are.
Kate, chance your arm on this one. How much of a distraction do you think Hunter Biden, forecast out for us for the next 4 years, how much of a distraction is Hunter Biden going to be to his old man's presidency?
It's a live issue. When he said he's taking this matter seriously, I don't know whether that's good or bad news. I don't know what Hunter Biden taking something seriously looks like, because I feel sorry for this kid. He's clearly quite disturbed, and I think lurking behind this, there seems to be a history of substance abuse and some instability. So you don't wish that on anyone, but it does raise matters of national security, frankly, in that his proximity to the president and his ability to access the White House and so on. There's clearly going to have to be a very careful vetting of him and a very close look at him, and the president's going to have to make some pretty tough calls as to precisely where he can go. Can he take weekends at Camp David when there are foreign visitors there, and so forth? They're going to have to really risk manage this guy very carefully, and this is just the start of it. He's a major embarrassment. I feel for Biden, frankly, because clearly this guy has had a very troubled past, and there's no sign that he's coming out of it.
Vaccine hoarding's the next and latest global worry, James. Poor countries, they say, won't get as much as rich countries. Rich countries will vaccinate basically everyone. Poor countries, sort of 1 in 10. What do you think?
Well, I think that, this is everybody's looking for more and more issues around this vaccine to try and, keep it from being a live item to get us out of the pandemic. We've had all the concerns about allergies. We've had all the concerns about being rushed. Now we've got a social justice angle on it. But the fact is that it is richer countries and ones that are in colder climates like in the Northern Hemisphere that are getting ravaged by this thing far more than countries in the developing world. That's just a fact. So it makes sense that these are countries that would need this vaccine to get their populations back to business.
Kate, just pick up on that point. Put your defence hat on.
Yeah. You've
seen, haven't we, how quickly the world comes to its knees on this issue of a virus, and doesn't it just amplify the case for this to be used as a weapon of war?
It does. Look, Peter, when the original stories were starting to circulate about was this a strategically placed virus, I didn't believe that, because it lacked a lot of the attributes of a nerve agent that you want it to be used. Because it spreads in this contagious fashion so rapidly and it's so imprecise, what you want from a nerve agent is pretty much instant asphyxiation or produced paralysis on a narrow front, so you can use it with some precision, particularly deliver it by ballistic methods, short-range missiles or artillery shells and so on. So I never quite bought that angle, but I pick up on James's point. I liked his column a lot, actually. I'll be rolling my sleeve up in a hurry to get this because, and look, let's face it, the countries that have done the best work on it and have had the best R&D, I think it's a tough world out there, and they should have first access to this. You know, that's the fact of it. And the Northern Hemisphere, particularly in winter, are at greater risk. I reckon just let it roll, let the countries that have done the investment. And by the way, China has got this dubious low-temperature storage thing that they're shoveling out to the third world like a BRI soft power initiative. Let the developing world sign up for that one if they wish, and let those who have deals with the UK and Pfizer be at the head of the queue where they paid their way to be. I hate to sound callous, but
well,
that's
let's see if Dan Andrews might be inflicting that on Victorians as well. James Morrow, Catherine McGregor, got to leave it there. Thank you for your time. Great to see you both.
Thanks, Peter.
Great to see you. Thanks.